Faeries is a deck that was once a top player in the Pauper metagame, but over the years, it has experienced a consistent decline in popularity. Why is that? Spellstutter Sprite is a brilliant card. Ninja the Deep Hours is an excellent card. This is a really awesome tempo deck, but it's been taken over by decks like Blue Terror, and even Delver is far better than Faeries right now. But why is that? I think it might be because the deck is misbuilt. I looked at almost all the Faeries lists for Magic Online in the past month, and almost none of them were playing Sneaky Snacker, which I think is crazy, because Sneaky Snacker is one of the best cards in Pauper right now, and it's a fairy. So we're gonna try this out, Faeries with Sneaky Snacker. Let's see if it's good or if it's irrelevant. We're here on the draw, and this hand is just not quite good enough. It's a 5-lander. This hand's definitely better. Playing against Tron. Okay, this is this should be an interesting matchup. Spellstutter Sprite is not good against Tron. I can say that pretty confidently. Map. Oh, I wish we had a Spell Pierce. Okay, so yeah, we just brainstorm here. This is interesting. There's a lot of decisions to be made here. We still don't know what variant of Tron they're playing, because there are like so many different variants of Tron in Pauper right now. And we have all 4 of our brainstorms. We do not need that many. So we're putting back at least 1, and we'll also put back a Snuff Out, just to hedge in case they do play like a black creature or something. We should probably do that. So yeah, we do that. We say go. And they got Tron online. We're gonna fetch for a swamp, obviously. And then, ooh, Counterspell's nice. Yeah, we can just land go. Leave up Counterspell and Abandoned Attachments, which is pretty cool. It's a lot of mana. Probably gonna be countering this. Ulamog's Crusher, yeah, that's actually, no. That's fine. We can just cast down that. We're fine with that. Get rid of that. Fairy Seer. Now this is interesting, right? So we can't leave up Counterspell and Fairy Seer. And we don't even have any ninjas in our hand anyways, so Fairy Seer isn't even that great. They say go. That's pretty awesome. We're going to abandon attachments. We're actually going to discard a Brainstorm here, because I'd rather keep Snuff Out, Counterspell, Fairy Seer. Draw 2 Spellstutter Sprite attachments. Now that's good. Okay. We're starting to get some creatures interaction, but again, do we want to Fairy Seer or leave up Counterspell? I think we leave up Counterspell, especially because we drew other abandoned attachment. And we might actually end up drawing or discarding the Spellstutter Sprite, but there still are some 1 and 2 mana spells that are relevant here. Like, for example, they could be color screwed, right? There's a good chance they're color screwed, so Spellstutter Sprite could do a great job in countering their whatever Chromatic Stars, Expedition Maps, cards that can get them colors. So we're just to discard the other attachments. Sprite Counterspell, wow, that's great. Another attachments, all right. We've seen all 4 attachments and all 4 brainstorms this game. We are spinning our wheels for sure. So we will have to go to discard. I will Fairy Seer. We're leaving the shields down kind of for 1 turn, but this game, it feels like the Spellstutter Sprite's gonna be a lot more relevant than we expect. So this is an interesting scry. We're gonna bottom Miscreant, but we are gonna top Cast Down, because Cast Down is a pretty clean answer to most of the cards they have. They do nothing again, crazy. And yeah, we're gonna attachments and just pitch this Brainstorm. Our hand is excellent, and I'd love to draw into a land here. No, but that's fine still. And yeah, we're gonna just do the same plan as last turn. We're just gonna Miscreant. There's just a really good chance that they are digging for something to get them colored mana. Yeah, map, we Spellstutter Sprite that. This is exactly what we plan to do. You get to counter the map, and they say go. Yeah, they probably just drew that map this turn. And now we're in an excellent spot, because we don't need to play anything. We can just hit for 3. We have a real clock now, and this Ambusher can make it a serious clock. They say go, we're fine with that. We just untap. We have to go to clean up. Discard. Yep, exactly, a Brambleworm. It's all colored mana. And look at that, we drew the island. So now we get to kind of do everything here. We get to attack with everything, ninjutsu, get our Spellstutter Sprite back, hit for an extra 2 damage, then say go. We have Counterspell and Spellstutter Sprite, and yeah, pretty confident to say we got this one in the bag. Boulder Branch Golem, yeah, we'll counter that. More mana efficient, and stop their life gain too. Another land, pretty cool. Hit for 5, and we can Spellstutter Sprite for lethal next turn. Pinnacle Kill Ship, we counter that, and that should do it. Yep, all right, let's go. We got there in game 1. So sideboarding a Null is so good against them. That's about it. This hand's nice. Another really solid hand. They lead on a non-Tron land, which is cool. Ooh, Visionary's Dance. I actually kind of like this card in Pauper Tron. I'm excited to see somebody's trying it. Yeah, pretty simple turn 1. We just run out a Miscreant. I love this card, Miscreant. I really wonder why most other Faeries lists have abandoned this card. Like, this card is still great. Prophetic Prism, okay. They have a lot more colors this game. Oh, we hit the Miscreant. Yeah, there's not a ton we want to counter on 3. So we're going to Miscreant. We draw Cast Down, awesome. We're just going to play a tap land. No need to even brainstorm here, because our hand is basically everything we want. Handy Trail, sure. We definitely were not going to counterspell that. And Stirrings, yep, okay. So they're probably going to get another Tron land here. They do. They get a tower. They play a map, okay. Well, that's a good turn from them. They're going to have Tron. Now for us, I actually like Fairy Seer here. We can still leave Counterspell up, obviously. Patchens Island, we can bottom both of those. We don't need either of those cards. And get in for 2. Then we say go, we leave up Counterspell. Yep, they crack map, so they're going to have 5 mana this turn. Candy Trail, sure. A double top, which is a bit scary. They crack Candy Trail. They crack Candy Trail, sure. Okay, yeah, they just spun their wheels. We're not even going to brainstorm or Lorien or Cycle Lorien here, because, yeah, our hand's basically perfect in this situation. Sure, we could do with a bit more of a clock, but I'd rather keep doing this. Stirrings, yep. Did they get Power Plant? Sure. So they didn't get much there. They're playing a Wretched Griff. Yeah, that's fine. That'll be a cast down target of ours. Another Stirrings, yep. Let's see what they hit this time. Unfathomable Truths. Draw 3 and make an 0-1. See, that's something I might think about countering. Yeah, we can just cast down that and untap. You draw a land, that's cool. Yeah, now there's well, now actually, now Brainstorm makes a bit more sense. Now Brainstorm makes a bit more sense. The Snacker, what do we think about that here? That's decent for the clock. So we can put back, nah, do that. Yeah, we'll put back double Aquifer, Cycle Lorien, get an island, play it, leave up Counterspell, say go. And we have this Annul now, which is awesome. So a lot of their scary stuff is artifacts. Okay, now they're casting that Truths card. I find this interesting. They still have 6 mana, and they haven't played, no, they have played a land. So they have 6 mana. So there's not a ton of stuff for 6 mana that's super scary. And 3 cards is pretty big with the amount of mana they have. And we have Annul to counter a lot of their other stuff. And Snuff Out for a lot of their Eldrazi and stuff like that. So I'm actually going to counter that. Let's see if I get punished for that. Because there's not a ton they could have for 6 mana. Like that Worm, that's like slightly annoying, right? It gains them some life. We could just kill it. Oh, my Magic Online is lagging out. Alright, we're good. Yeah, Nyxborn Hydra again. This is an easy thing that we can kill. We draw a Counterspell. That's absurd. Okay. So yeah, we just snuff that out, play a Snacker, and then hit for 3. And now we got a considerable clock and 3 excellent pieces of interaction in our hand. So it's looking pretty good here. Here they got Visionary's Dance, which this card is awesome here. We are going to Counterspell that just because it's a 2-for-1. And 2 3/3s with flying literally just locks up our whole board. So yeah, this card's really good. And it's a cantrip. I mean, this card seems really nice in Tron. Bog. We're not even going to play Bog. They don't really have any graveyard stuff from what I know. So I'd rather save it to discard in case we have like a abandoned attachments or something. But we put them to 9. Yeah, we got to see what they have. Because they got 4 cards in hand. So they could still have plenty of stuff that could win them this game. Unfathomable Truths. That resolves this time. And if they play a Hydra here, which it looks like that's what this is, this could be pretty bad. No, a Brambleworm. Okay, that's much better for us. Yeah, because we can snuff out that. The Hydra would have forced us to find a second removal spell. This is just like, basically just buys them a turn with the life gain, which is still good, but nothing insane. So yeah, now we can snuff that out. What's the draw? Okay, the game's lagging again. Ninja of the Deep Hours is so good. Because we get to Ninja, return Miscreant, replay Miscreant, draw. So we get to draw 2, essentially. That's crazy. Okay, so we're going to lead on that. Ninjutsu, draw off the Ninja, an island, and then Miscreant. We draw another land. Okay, so yeah, now we're definitely bogging them to exile their Brambleworm. That's pretty relevant here. And we say go, we have a Null up, and yeah, see what happens. It really depends on what threat they have and how well a Null can line up with that. Basically, if they play a scary artifact, we're probably going to win. If they play some other scary non-artifact, we're pretty far behind. This is a lot of mana. What? 16 mana? What is this? What? 15 mana? What is Emrakul the Eon's Torn? It's just like an enormous Hydra. I mean, obviously, a Hydra's an enchantment. We can annul that. Yeah, we can just annul that. Let's go! We win! We win! Annul your Hydra! They are paused. The best deck of the world. GG's. All right, we got there against Tron. Is Faeries back? All right, we're here on the draw. This hand is quite slow, but I am gonna keep, partially just because I want to test out these snackers and see how they. Oh well, we might just be hard casting the snackers this game. Ooh, Island's a nice draw. Allows us to get a Scry 2 on turn 1. Brainstorm Lorien. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. You draw Brainstorm next turn. I don't mind that at all. Okay, they Fanatical Offering sacking their spell bomb, so they probably don't expect the Faeries deck to play Snacker, which is weird, right? Because Snacker's also a fairy. But nobody knows that. It seems that everyone's forgotten it except me. So yeah, it looks like we're playing against Jund Wildfires here. So they Wildfire their bridge. That's quite good. Yeah, they're doing their thing. This is another very cool matchup to test, because this is like this might just be pure red-black Wildfire, given they didn't tutor for a green source. So yeah, we will end of turn Brainstorm because we know we have Lorien revealed on top. 2 Lorien reveals on top. Well, we will shuffle one of those away. Actually, no, I'll keep it. We'll shuffle the island away. We draw another island, which isn't the worst. Then we can attack. And I am going to leave up Sprite. There's a decent amount of stuff they could play that we'd want to counter here. All right, so they are Jund Wildfires. Okay. Wildfire, we will definitely counter that. Or try to. They could kill our creature in response. They don't. Spell Bomb, okay. Fanatical Offering. Makes sense. Ooh, attachments. Well, that's kind of awesome, because that actually forces them to crack Spell Bomb, and they don't get to draw a card for it. So I'm here for that. Yeah. They have to crack Spell Bomb, basically. Yeah. And that's just great value for us. And Spell Stutter Sprite's awesome, too, just for that tempo. This is why Snacker's so good. It's like, yeah, sure, they exiled our graveyard, and they're down a card. We're not even down a card. It's so cool. Eviscerator's Insight, we will Sprite that. Just trying to shut down their card advantage as much as possible. Okay, Blood Fountain, more card advantage. We're just trying to out-tempo them this game, which so far we're doing reasonably well. Lorien's awesome. That might be pretty good next turn. This turn's pretty simple. Get to attack. Would love to have a Ninja here. We do only have 3 Ninja the Deep Hours. I might think about changing that. Now we get to Miscreant, we get to Snacker. We could pretend to leave up another counterspell or something too, which is cool. That's one of my gripes about Arena, is that you can't pretend to leave stuff up. At least that's... Let me know in the comments if there's actually a way to respond on Arena even when you don't have a spell. Like, now they know we don't have a counterspell, or else you would have countered that. But again, this isn't that bad. I mean, we do have Cast Down for that. Ooh, Ambusher. Sadly, we can't do both in the same turn. But yeah, we're just going to Cast Down and then attack for 6. That's pretty awesome. What is this in response? Okay, they're flashing back Eviscerator's Insight, sacking their Chrysalis. That makes sense. You draw a lot of cards, but we're going to put them down to 7. And yeah, let's see what they can do this turn. They can return their Chrysalis. Wellspring, sure. This is one of my biggest issues with the Wildfires deck. It's really good at like spinning its wheels, but like it's not great at answering the board, you know? And you can draw all the cards you want, but if you can't beat the board, it doesn't matter. So that's how a lot of my games against Wildfire has been so far, where they've just drawn a bunch of cards, but they just die with a full grip. Like, that's what's going to happen this game. They're just going to die with a full grip of cards in their hand. Like, I don't really get it. I really don't. And this is like a top tier deck. Like, this deck does very well. Familiar. So let me do some math. So if they block our 2/1, we can put them to 1 and leave up a Spell Stutter Sprite. So yeah, we'll discard Lorien Revealed. And they did all that wheel spinning on turn 7, and they have almost no board state. Well, Miscreant's pretty cool. If we draw like a Snuff Out, oh no, because Refers Familiar is black, so we can't snuff that out. Another Sprite is cool. But yeah, we get in with everything. They block Snacker, we can Ninjutsu, return Spell Stutter Sprite, put them to 1. And even if they have like the -1/-1 spell or something, now we have a counter spell against that. Wellspring, sure, yeah, they're just gonna keep drawing cards. Quark Clan Shaman, well, this is without flying. Each creature without flying. So I don't care about that. Without, like, I don't care about without flying, I care about with flying. Okay, yeah, they hold priority. They do this to kill our Ambusher, which, like, we're fine with that. The Fumes to give -1. They need to have, like, double Fumes or something. Familiar is fine. We discard one of our 2 sprites. Hydra, X equals 2. We have 2 cards, or 2 untapped mana. But Hydra doesn't matter either. They don't have any lifelink, or they can gain life with Lembas actually. So if they gain life with Lembas, they're at a virtual 4, and they would go to 2. So yeah, we actually do want to counter this because they can gain life with Lembas, then it could get a bit tricky. So now they need a board wipe because they're still taking 4 next turn. Yeah, even if they crack Lembas. All right, let's go. That was a bit of a tricky end to that game, but we got there. We got all these blue blasts and hydro blasts, which I'd love to see. And I'm gonna trim some abandoned attachments and 1 snacker, just because they do have a lot of graveyard interaction. All right, no lander, obvious mole. This hand's cool. I like this hand. So here's the question. Do we want a Fairy Seer to scry on turn 1, or do we want to leave up Blue Blast for their Wildfire? Interesting question. They have enough targets for Blue Blast, especially post board, that I'm just gonna Fairy Seer. Counterspell, Spell Stutter, that's crazy. Yes, please, I'd like both. All right, Refer was familiar, so that's interesting. We can discard a snacker, then brainstorm it back. Yeah, and we can attack, and they probably have to block in case we have like a ninja the deep hour or something. Yep, they block. We're very happy with that. Yeah, now we get to say go. We could either Spell Stutter or brainstorm to return the snacker. Both options are pretty cool. Wellspring, yeah, we don't care about. Couldn't counter that anyways. End of turn, we brainstorm, put back some cards, return our snacker, cycle our Lorien, get our Black Source. This is looking good so far. Get in there for 2. Let me say go. Insight. I'm not going to Spell Stutter that this time. So they can still cast another 2-mana spell. And they have so much more impactful stuff. Lembas. I am going to counter that actually, because the life gain is relatively relevant. And I want to just get more of a clock in play. Another Sprite is insane. I'm not going to Aqueduct because I want to leave up Sprite plus Red Blast, or Counterspell plus Red Blast in case we need it. Because we're just trying to push this tempo advantage and eventually win. Familiar. We can't Sprite that. We don't really care too much. We can just discard Aqueduct. So we're actually fine with that. It trades with our thing, like it limits our clock. It's annoying, but I'd rather not put the shields down just yet. The Wildfire. Yeah, we're going to Sprite that. I'm going to Sprite over Blue Blast. It gives them mana advantage, gives them a card. And there's nothing else they're doing this turn, so I think that makes sense. Ninja. Oh, wow. Come on. This card, it's a really good draw. We will have to leave Counterspell down for a turn, assuming we don't draw an island, but it's totally worth it. Yeah, they block one of our sprites. We can Ninja, return the other sprite. Hit him for 4, draw a card. Fairy Seer. Now that's interesting, isn't it? I'm going to leave up Blue Blast. Because that Dragon's Breath could be a problem, or Breath Weapon, whatever it's called. And they know we have sprites, so they will probably have to cast it main phase. Cast down our Ninja, sure. That's good. And then a Wellspring, all right. They're doing their thing. Draw land, yeah, so we get to Fairy Seer here. Hopefully scry into a land, get a bit more of a clock going too. There's land, and Bog. Bog is a good land at that. Hit him down in 9, say go. We're just slowly chipping away, even if it's for just like 2 or 3 a turn. We're doing stuff. Chrysalis. I mean, yeah, we're obviously going to counter that. We don't have a removal spell for it. We're 1 fairy off from being able to sprite it. Which that would have felt good. Munitions. Ooh, they got the munitions through. That's quite good. We can still Red Blast that, which we will. They got to kill our Snacker, which is a bit interesting. But yes, we will, or Blue Blast that. And then we'll bog them. There's plenty of stuff they could recur in the future, so it's worth bogging. And getting for 1, say go. We got a very slow clock, but yeah, it's not looking great for us this game. Definitely not. Cast down, yeah, we will try and sprite that. Like, they probably have another kill spell, but what are we gonna do? Breath Weapon, yeah, sure. Okay, we got rid of that. Ninja. Nah, they have so much stuff we want to counter. And this Ninja is so much better with fairies anyways to like generate value. That's like kind of the only way we get back in this game. The Eviscerator's Insight, sure, yeah. That's kind of like the only way to get back in this game is accruing more value. Because yeah, their deck has like a million kill spells. If we tap out for a Ninja the Deep Hours, we probably just, it's gonna die, almost certainly. Chrysalis, we're fine with that because we can cast down that. Yeah, we cast down that. The Fanatical Offering. The map token is so annoying. That's hard. I'm gonna let that resolve. I'm gonna stick to the plan that I originally set. The plan of going after the stuff that really matters. Land is not great. I'll still play it, right? So we draw another island, we can land, Ninja, leave up Counterspell. Chrysalis, yeah. We gotta counter that. They red blast or counterspell. And we're almost certainly dead here. We draw a cast down, so sure. This would be a crazy comeback if we could get this. They offering, they duress us. They see our ninja. They say go. Hey, we drew a blue blast. This could actually potentially work for us here. But ninja's not that great just because they have these spawn tokens. Go for the throat, sure. A flashback insight to draw 2. Yeah, familiar. That almost does it. Alright, they just spun their wheels a bit more and attacked. Brainstorm. Kind of have to cast it. Oh yeah, we have a snacker in our graveyard too. Forgot about that. Oh, we are Brainstorm locked now. That sucks. I should have held land for familiar, but whatever. I doubt this will matter this game. Yeah, they do nothing again. They say go. You get to attack. Yeah, they're bestowing a Hydra on their spawn. We basically can't win from this spot, so yeah, let's go to game 3. And honestly, they have a null, they have familiar, they have a lot of artifacts. Sorry, they have Hydra, familiar, a lot of artifacts. I think a null is actually good enough in this matchup. I think actually a null might be better than Blue Blast. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we don't want too many counterspells. We are a 4 sprite, 4 counterspell deck. So yeah, that's little tweaks I'm making before game 3. All right, game 3 on the play. Sand has all the interaction but no threat. And in this matchup, we play this game and we lose. So we gotta mull that. This hand is not great, but it is a bit better. It's a bit better. We really want at least one drop fairy every single game, this deck. My Magic Online is lagging again, of course. Alright. The Magic Online today, I don't know what's up with it. It's really bad. We land go. We really want to black source this game. I was thinking about adding a few more tap lands to the deck to guarantee more black mana, and that might actually be the right thing to do. I'm thinking about annulling this. I think I am. Like, there's a good chance we just are not going to do much for a few turns. So yeah. Because this sprite is probably not going to have a target until we draw another fairy, and we need another land. Like, this hand is just bad. Lambos, yeah, we'll let that resolve. Familiar, yeah, we'll counterspell that. This is bad. Okay, Miscreant, I mean, that is a 1-mana fairy. That's the start. Wellspring, sure. And then Familiar, that's insanely good here. We have to discard a Ninjutsu guy because, like, if they play Chrysalis, we basically just lose, so we gotta keep this cast down. Ugh. We drew the Ninja, but it's too late. They Wildfire. Yeah, we'll Spell Stutter Sprite that. You know, if they don't have a kill spell. Alright, just counter it, sure. I mean, cast down, we can leave up cast down. It's not that bad. I'm not gonna do it main phase. I don't care about getting in for 1 point of damage. If they play like a Chrysalis or something, I'd obviously much rather target that. Yep, there it is. All right. Well, yeah, we will kill that. This is the best card in the Wildfire deck. This card is really good. We got to cast down that. Probably sack it in response or something. Yep, draw 2, make a map. Another land. I don't even want to hardcast this Ninja just because trade with their familiar. Duress, that's, yeah. And I think this match has really shown a lot of the weaknesses with Faeries compared to other blue-black strategies like Terror or Delver. This deck is just so much weaker to interaction, and it's much harder for this deck to bounce back because you have to spend so much more time building up your board, and your creatures are much easier to interact with. Like Tolarian Terror, that card is 1 mana most of the time, and it's hard to interact with. This deck is a lot of solid creatures that can die to almost everything, which currently in Pauper, I don't think that's a winning formula. They basically cast anything here, I'll concede. It's a Hydra. Yep, hot big ass Hydra. We cannot beat that. GG's. All right, here on the play, game 1. This hand is straight gas. This hand has everything we could possibly want. Ooh, a Ninja of the Deep Hours. That's crazy. Yeah, we're doing that. We're just going for a turn 2 Ninja of the Deep Hours. That could be huge if we get that. Yeah, they just play a Guild Gate. So we're playing in some Gates deck. Get to attack, and then Ninja. Oof, so good. And then we draw the Snuff out. Yeah. Cliffgate. Alright, well, we'll lead down an attack. Maybe they have like some 1 mana interaction or something. Probably not, or else they would have main phased it. Alright, get to draw. Another Snacker, not the worst. Yeah, we'll cycle for a Black Source. Play out a Fairy Seer. 2 more lands. Could bottom both of those. Say go. And we're in really good shape here. We've gotten 2 connections with this Ninja. typically pretty good when you can do that. Sacred Cat. Sprite's a cool draw. We're gonna lead on snuff outing this cat so we can connect with Ninja. Get to draw again. We draw a land, which is nice, because now we get to snacker and leave up Sprite. This is looking good so far. They have their own snacker. We're gonna spell stutter that. They at max have 2 mana this turn. Yeah, they embalm a cat, we're cool with that. Now I'm not even gonna cast down. If they would have chump our Ninja, we're fine with that. Yep, they don't. Get to draw a Miscreant, which is cool. Now spell stutter counters anything CMC 5 or less, assuming they don't have a removal spell. That's crazy. All right, Basilisk Gate, sure. They gate their cat, try and gain some life, but we have this cast down, so that's pretty cool. We shall cast down the cat. This probably is gonna do it here. Yes, it does. All right, we got there in game 1. Oh yes, this hand is so good. If we could draw a snacker, this hand becomes ridiculous. Outlaw Medic, good start from them. Ooh, Snuff Out's a great draw. Wow. So yeah, we can just land go, leave up a bunch of stuff. They attack for 1, we're fine with that. Another Medic, actually kind of good. We're gonna counter that. Ninja isn't bad. That gives us something to do next turn, especially if we can. And they really don't have any 1-drops. Maybe Sacred Cat. They pursue the past. Okay, they're using the new card from Secret to Strixhaven. This is actually pretty good here. I'm gonna Spell Pierce that, because we saw Snacker in game 1, so they could just go discard Snacker, get it back, and that would be pretty rough. So I like countering that. Another Snuff Out. It's not bad. Anyway, just say go. And almost no matter what, we're gonna Sprite and try and Ninja, because card advantage really does matter a lot in this matchup. Melted Moxite, sure, yeah, or Melded Moxite. Get back a Snacker. Yeah, it's good. But now we get to Sprite and hopefully be able to put in this Ninja. Another Sprite is cool. The island here would be awesome. Another Snuff Out, that's kind of funny. All right, well, not much you could do. Red Blast our Ninja, that's rough. Yeah, really sucks you didn't hit a 4th land. Hit here, Brainstorm. It's not bad. This can get us back into this game potentially. It's decent. We hit the land at least, but not looking great. Another Moxite. And then a Spirit Mascot. All right, they're using a lot of new cards from Strixhaven. I like that. That mascot's probably going to be our Snuff Out target. They attack. Yeah, we're fine with that. We're going to Sprite, but we're not going to block. That's a losing line to block. We're just going to play Sprite just to have some more Fairies in play. Now we have double Sprite up, which is cool because they played a lot of 2-mana spells, 3-mana spells. Pursue the Past. Yep, we'll Sprite that, and then Red Blast, and we Sprite that. Yeah, they Red Blast, we Sprite. Not bad. They attack with just those two. It makes sense. We'll trade with the Snacker now because we have more Fairies in play, and our life total matters a bit. Actually, our life total matters a lot because we do have 3 Snuff Outs. We're gonna discard one of these though. Ninja's kind of a cool draw. Beats, Ninjutsu, draw, landscape. I mean, sure. You'll play this out. We're not even gonna fetch it in case you draw another Brainstorm or something. And we're gonna be Snuff Outing this Spirit Mascot this turn. Maybe we should have done it main phase, but I'd rather have them commit to it a bit more. Yeah, they could flashback and Pursue the Past. Quite good. They get back Snacker. They do that. Yeah, we definitely want Graveyard Hate against them. This deck could be good. Genuinely, this deck could be good with Spirit Mascot. It's possible. I don't know if I want it to be a gate deck though. That's kind of my issue. It's like, do the gates work, or are they just a bit too cute? That's the biggest thing I'm thinking about. Let's see how they attack. They just attack with the 4/4. Makes sense. Snuff it out. Snacker is awesome. That's really good because we can just hardcast it and trade with their Snacker. I think that's what we do. It feels weird to leave Spell Stutter Sprite down. They're going to be attacking. We're at 6, so it's not that bad. We could go to 4. Yeah, we could. All right, first things first, let's Snuff out their Medic and connect with the Ninja. Yeah, we're leaving Spell Stutter Sprite back. So they do have Gate. If they play another Gate, they'll just have Lethal Snacker. So yeah, we draw with Ninja. So tough, isn't it? Yeah, I think we play Snacker and offer up the trade. Because then we can start getting Snacker back. It's not amazing. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, we trade here. We have our Breath Weapon. It's not that bad. Yeah, Thrilling Discovery, that's very good. Get back their Snacker. Okay, it's very good from them. Cast Down is a cool draw. We're gonna attachments, pitching our island to get back our Snacker. Another attachments. I can play Miscreant. I kind of like that. Just keeping this around. Then we will take 4. We are in Galvanic Blast range if they play that, but We can't be that conservative this game because of the card advantage that our opponent has. They're attacking, they're not gating, so we're not going to block. They flashback, pursue the pass. Pretty sure? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to spell stutter sprite this. They red blast. Sure, yeah. This is going to be a tough one to win, mainly just because they have so many cards. Yeah, second snacker. We're definitely right fighting over that, but I don't think it's going to matter. Another miscreant, all right. We get the draw. Brainstorm, kind of. We can do that at instant speed. So yeah, we can brainstorm at instant speed to bring the snackers back, or one of our snackers back. And then they say go. I'm surprised they haven't been using the gate. This is weird. They have 7 cards in hand, but I mean, they can make some tokens with this, right? They're gonna counter our brainstorm so they can't. Yeah, so we can't get back snacker until next turn. That's pretty heads up. Fairy Seer is good card to lead on. Brainstorm counterspell. This is tough. I'm gonna bottom counterspell here. We want to dig for some stuff that's a bit better if we can hit it. So now we can attachments, discard Lorien, get back snacker, and then we can brainstorm. They breath weapon in response. Yeah, that's just game because they can make a 2/2 kills. All right, yeah, GG. Why can't I concede, dude? Magic Online is lagging so much today. This is so stupid. And it's not me. Like it's not like my RAM is being used up or anything. It's just the game is lagging so much. All right, whatever. Game 3, definitely bringing in Relic. Should have brought it in last game, but you live and you learn. All right, here in the decisive game 3 on the play. And yeah, we're going to keep this Faeries here. Has to do a bit of heavy lifting, but this hand's nice. Ninja. Yeah, Ninja and Lorien. That's crazy, actually. So we get our Black Source and we get to turn 2 Ninja. That's insane. Attack. We ninjutsu. They might kill it, but it's like, all right, we're still trading 1 for 1. Yeah, red blast, sure. Mox, all right. They got their thing going. Discard a cat. To better than a snacker. So we can cycle Lorien, get our Black Source. Then we can Fairy Seer. Scries aren't great. We'd like an untapped land or a more impactful spell. Just happen to play a Relic. It's funny because we also have Relic. They might think that we're a terror deck, but we're not. And the game is lagging again. This is absurd. This is probably going to be my last match with this deck. It's just like, look at all that lag. You just saw it for yourself. They red blasted my Fairy Seer and did all that, and I didn't even see it. It's lagging that much. Yeah, Fairy Seer is not bad. The land is cool. I don't mind the land. We're going to say go. We're going to leave up Counterspell over Snacker. A Relic. You say go. We're cool with that. Player land for 1. They don't block. Try to ninjutsu. Say go. Yeah, they make a 2/2. Spirit Mascot. Yeah, I'll counter that. And then we can just go kind of full tempo. We can snuff out their 2/2. Get in. Fairy Seer is cool. We're actually going to fetch in response. Because we're almost certainly going to fetch and we don't want to mess up our scry. So we'll fetch first. Snacker, Brainstorm. I kind of like both. We just play a bunch of flyers and hope. I don't know, they have a lot of board wipes. That's the problem. So maybe we bottom the Snacker and keep the. Then we snuff out their robot. Yeah, Spirit Mascot's really good with Relic because you can keep exiling your own graveyard and keep putting counters on it every turn. And then yeah, we attack for 3, play a Snacker, say go. Not feeling too good about this game, but this is the line. They have a board wipe this turn, we basically lose. And if we don't brainstorm into a counter spell, then we also basically lose. Thrilling Discovery. All right, well, it's not a board wipe. All right, they just did that and they said go. So now we get to brainstorm, see what we hit. Snacker and Fairy Seer. It's still 1 off from lethal. But what else are we doing? Like realistically, what else are we doing? So yeah, we're gonna. Oh my god, so laggy. This is insane. Oh, this is horrible. This lag. This is so infuriating. this is awful. All right, so yeah, we bottom, play a Snacker, put them to 10, and then we can put them to 1 next turn. But they're probably just gonna board wipe us. But there's nothing else we can do. If we don't play our creatures, then our clock is really slow, and they can keep getting value, and the board wipe is still gonna be great. So it doesn't really matter either way. We just lose to a board wipe. Yep. All right. Yeah. Basically lost. Yep. All right. Yeah. I'm just gonna scoop. GG. I think we can see why Faeries is such a niche deck nowadays. It just loses to so much of the metagame, and it doesn't have much counterplay. Literally, all of these creatures have a maximum of 2 toughness. And in this economy, with Tolarian Terrors and a bunch of board wipes and a bunch of lava darts and all these cards, it's really hard for Faeries to compete. I think in the future, for Faeries to be tier 1 in Pauper again, Wizards needs to print some more pushed common fairies to make this deck on the radar again, because Spellstutter Sprite is a great card, but the rest of the deck just doesn't line up with it. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this experiment. If you want to see more Pauper videos, my playlist is on the screen right here. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.